If you're over the age of 40 and you are going through a rediscovery, I want to talk about something that everyone needs to hear. It's not about changing who you are, but it's more about becoming who you are meant to be. So when I decided to become an entrepreneur at the age of 44, there were some questions that I had to ask myself and be really truthfully honest with who it is that I really wanted to become. Because you see, the version of myself in the past, there were things that I just did not want to bring with me. There were a lot of excuses that I used to hold because that's where my comfort was. And so I knew that when I was taking this journey of becoming an entrepreneur, there are things that I am not going to do. I am not going to bring the excuses at all to the table anymore, because guess what? I'm in control, so I have nothing to complain about. So some of those excuses would include, I can't do it because I'm too tired. I don't have time, I'll do it next week. Like, these are all things where I would normally use that as a crutch that I knew would not serve me in this new chapter of my life. But rather, I had to look in the mirror and say, okay, what is it that I really want to change in my life, and who is that woman that I really want to become? I want to be someone who starts my day with gratitude, and no matter how hard it gets, that I reflect on at least 3 things daily that I can find to be grateful for. Second, it would be doing my morning devotions. I had to get my head right with the Lord, because I know that I am the steward of His business and everything that I do centers around Him. And so I want to make sure that I am building a great relationship with the Lord. Third, I wanted to make sure that I was taking care of my physical health. This meant that there is no excuses for me anymore where I can't move my body at least 30 minutes a day to get my health back where it needs to be. And then the last one was spending that quality time with my family, because my family, and honestly all of these, have been areas of my life that I put on the back burner, that as I was coming into this new chapter of who I am, were gonna be non-negotiables, that these were the priority for me in my life. Now, one big thing that I am not taking with me into this next chapter is focusing on all the things that I didn't do correctly, because it's really easy to get caught up in the comparison game of when you're doing something new for yourself and you start following people who are doing the same thing you are and starting to compare yourself with what they do. Now, this just recently happened to me as of yesterday, that I started following a couple of really highly thought of entrepreneurs who are in the same industry that I am, and they're over here talking about how they're working 12, 14, 16-hour days because their business has got to be successful. And I started thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing nearly enough. Like, I need to be working more. And then I started feeling this very familiar sense of burnout happening. And I had to stop for a minute and say, Holly, just because that's what they want to do doesn't mean that that's what you have to do. I did not build this business so I could work on a stream of burnout over and over and over again. And so a couple things that I've done recently that really have helped me to reflect on all the great things that I do well during the day is I journal at the end of the night before I go to bed, as I reflect on what are some of those great things that I accomplished for the day. Making my bed. Okay, maybe it's getting to that workout that I told myself I was gonna get to. Sending those emails, booking those calls, posting on social media, filming a video. I mean, there's so much to be proud of what you do, that just because you're doing something different doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. And I want you to just keep that in mind, because it's really easy to try to follow other people's plan. But when you're embarking on this new discovery of who you are, find those people who resonate with who you are and what you want to become, not people who are familiar from your past. The other thing that I want you to keep in mind, and for myself, especially on this entrepreneurial journey, is that I follow people who I want to mold myself after. So Justin Welsh happens to be a solopreneur of somebody who I really admire, and he had this post that he just hit me like, yes, Holly, this is what you need to be doing. And it really recalibrated my brain and saying, okay, I can still accomplish the goals that I want to accomplish, and I don't have to work 14, 16-hour days. Like, that's just not the norm all the time. The other piece is if you're struggling in this season of rediscovering who you want to become, is you got to get yourself an accountability partner. I speak to my friend Amy every other Sunday, and she lights me up. She's just one of those people that pour into me, who makes me feel so much better after I'm done talking to her. And she's on the same trajectory as I am, but when you have somebody who's going through it with you, it really helps quite a bit to make sure that you're just keeping your head on the right track. So I want to ask you, what does this next version of you say yes to? But more importantly, what do you say no to? For me, this new chapter prioritizes her health. She sets boundaries of things that serve her and don't serve her. She celebrates the small wins, and she values her faith, her fitness, and her family. And here's who she's not anymore. She doesn't focus on the failures and looking at them as an opportunity to quit, but looking at her failures more as an opportunity to grow. She doesn't dwell on her mistakes anymore. She doesn't shrink herself in order to make others feel comfortable. She doesn't look for other people to prove her worth and her value. And this last one, she doesn't ask for permission to live the life that she wants. Because when you lean into who you are and who you want to be, these boundaries and you staying firm to who you are what's going to carry you to this next chapter of your life. If you're in the process of rediscovering who you are, remember you're not alone. You don't need a plan. You just need to be willing to take that first step. And that first step is just being honest with yourself and who you want to become. Because you're already that version of you. You're not a someday person. You are that person. You just have to lean into who that person is. Now that you're on the journey of rediscovering who you are, I want you to celebrate the heck out of yourself, okay? That means maybe going and getting your hair done. Maybe it's buying a new outfit. Maybe it's taking yourself out to dinner. I don't know, maybe it's taking a day off in the middle of the week and really spending time with your loved ones. But you deserve to be able to be celebrated because you are becoming this incredible person. And I am so blessed to be on this journey with you. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. Leave me a comment. It really helps the growth of my channel, and I will see you all in my next video. Take care.